You have been with the franchise for so long, but this is your first crossover as showrunner. So how has the experience changed for you being the showrunner during a crossover versus the previous ones?
That's a really good question because I don't, it's amazing that how much is going on at one time. It's always the thing as a showrunner, how many balls are in the air. And the crossover kind of is such a huge event and it's everything gets focused on that. So to keep other shows going, keep other episodes moving and plots developing and all that at the same time it is tricky. It's a lot to do. And we have a fantastic group of writers. And so you just it's all about divvying it up. And Victor Tran wrote this one. He did an incredible job with the writers from PD and Med, and they sat in a room together for months doing this, and we would go in and talk it out for a while, and I'd pop in and pop out and get the other episodes going too. But it was, these are huge events, both on the writing side and production side.
Well, and there's certainly a lot going on for the fire character specifically. As you were leading up to this, how much were you cognizant of what was to come in this crossover event, with whether you wanted to kind of seed things to kind of pay off in the crossover, or you wanted to play them in different ways because you knew that they had things coming in the aftermath of this?
Yeah, that was the big part of it is making sure that we're tracking the characters and we know what we're building to and kind of how we're challenging them in this episode. And there's a lot of relationship drama in this crossover, and we don't always do that. So this is really integrated with the other shows, but also with the rest of the season, which we don't always do that. Sometimes they're kind of standalone. But these Kid and Severide and Mouch and Platt, and Rusic and Burgess on the PD side, but they're all, digging deep into those relationships and how they're challenged in this episode.
To start off with the Severide and the kid of it all, they are separated literally and figuratively. What can you kind of share about how they're dealing with this very serious life and death situation?
Yeah, their relationship, is such a strong, powerful relationship. But one of the biggest issues that they have is the separation. When Severide left for a while and Kid had her travels, and so they've kind of made this agreement going into this episode. We're not going to be apart anymore. We're going to stay together. And then in comes the crossover and literally rips them apart. And Kid is trapped below the ground, and Severide is has to get to her, and he's going to do whatever the hell it takes to get down there. And so they're challenged both on an emotional level with being apart and what their plans are for the future, and then they're ripped apart physically in this one too.
Well, given just the literal separation in terms of the underground, how much are they able to communicate as this is going on? Are they able to talk through the radios, or is it something where they're not able to speak at all and they're kind of in the dark about what the other is doing?
It's both, because it starts where there's some contact, they can still make contact, but then by as the collapse gets worse, and things start really going south in the subway tunnel, they are unable to communicate basically. So they're just going on faith at that point, that Kid is going on faith that Severide's going to find his way down there and help get everybody out and be reunited.
Yeah. Well, before we move on, the kid and Rusic dynamic down there, can you kind of tease about finally getting to play with that a little bit more?
Yeah, that was really fun because, that's a pairing that we haven't seen before, and they're definitely different personalities. The thing they have in common is they're very tough, both of them, but there's Ruzek has a kind of take charge personality, and Kid is a lieutenant and she's in charge too. So, that the power struggle is real between the two of them, but they have to work together to save the people who are trapped in the train with them. So it's fun to see that relationship develop over the course of the crossover.
As we've now seen very much in the promo, Trudy is not in a good way. What can you preview about how that impacts both Mouch in the immediate and also just in the long term as he's dealing with this?
Yeah, Mouch he's made some really big life decisions this season about, moving forward and becoming an officer and not retiring and, in fact, recommitting in a lot of ways to being a firefighter. And so he's making these huge life decisions, and some of the personal stuff has gotten a little bit buried along the way. So I think that comes to the fore in this episode, kind of realizing that maybe he hasn't been focusing as much as he should on Trudy, and then it all really comes to a fore when she's hurt, and he has to kind of deal with what that feels like and what she really means to him, what the feeling of the possibility of losing her is, how profound that is for him. So yeah, he's put through the ringer in this one.
Yeah. Well, one of the fun things about the crossovers in general is just getting to see unexpected pairings beyond
Yes.
the Rusic and Kid. What can you tease about the pairings that you are most excited for viewers to see?
That's a really good question. I loved seeing Pascal with Voight. As somebody said, that's like Alpha Central right there. So it was really fun to see these two big dogs, having to work together because they both have people who are in dire or serious danger, and they have to work together to figure out how to save them. And so they're kind of two separate trains running as they're trying to figure out the investigation and get the pieces of that will help them get to the subway car itself, and also get rubble go out of the way and get lives saved. So they're working together to get that done, and we've never seen those two together, so that was a lot of fun.